Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast. Going out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world, welcome on in once again to the Sports Buffoon Studios out here in Lenexa, Kansas, at the halfway point of the NFL season. So we have a lot to get into today, of course. But first and foremost, Jason JG, you are back with the clans. So what's up, man?
All the way back. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Great. Glad to have you back in. First time that we've all sat around the table here.
It's like 3 weeks, right?
Literally 3 weeks.
It's
So
3
you were
weeks.
gone.
Yeah.
It was JG the first time with me, and then he was gone for 2 weeks. It was you and me.
So it has been a little while then, I guess, because otherwise we have your face somewhere plastered above my head somewhere.
So last week,
first
week you were in your seat here, and then the previous week I had you up on the big screen here. So
The great thing is that none of us have had COVID yet, so give it another 2 weeks and we'll go virtual again.
This is what did we call this? A super spreader, right?
Super spreader.
Tanner, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's rolling. Great time of year. College basketball is back. College football is ramping up on the crucial games.
These just feel like distractions to me. It feels like when these other sports come around at this time of year, I'm just like, can you go away? ESPN's going to cover you now. It's like, come on, you're interrupting my enjoyment of the NFL season.
MLB's done. Correct.
Right, that's out of the way. So at least that's one distraction out the window.
Okay.
It's good taken
And
care of.
then, not that we follow it, but MLS finished up as well with LA winning that one. So
Right.
that's out of the way.
MLS is out of the way. NHL just began.
Yeah.
So
and
they're
NHL
kind of
NBA
around
around
there.
until July. So
Yeah, that's
we're
true.
stuck there.
CP3's out of the way. You don't have to worry about the
He's
Suns
out.
anymore.
That's right. CP3's out of the way. Taking care of business. So there's some distractions that are being handled, I guess, along the way. But otherwise, you guys, I'm just glad we're back at the table again. Now this table's a little different than what we normally set up with. A little more compact, but
A little bit more personal.
yeah. We can even touch each other here if that's something that
I don't know if
we're
wanna get
into.
that far.
But well, guys, what are you sipping on?
I have me an orange Powerade and some water.
Orange. Wow, we were just getting lamer by the day. Orange Powerade.
It's pretty lame, dude. It's just, we're doing full on sober day.
Well-
I've got an orange vitamin water over here.
I mean, this show a year and a half ago was like, what are you sipping on? And we got like shots and IPAs and Imperial Stouts every week.
Everclear a couple of
Just
times.
Whatever it takes. Now we're sitting here with Bud Zeros and Powerade.
I feel like we got older as we did the show.
Oh, God. Yeah, here we go. Well, anyways, guys, speaking of situations changing, we saw the Colts, obviously, this past week had to let go of their head coach, right?
Yep.
Mr. Frank, he wouldn't
Frank.
get the job done over there in Indianapolis. And it was to no surprise. I mean, we kind of saw this coming. I mean, Matt Ryan being brought in was a big disaster. Jonathan Taylor's had injury problems this year. And they're not figuring it out. Now, they did get a win over the Chiefs earlier this year. That's awesome for them. But I think there's something there that's wrong, that's missing within that organization. And that's why they had to make the move that they did, because I don't blame them at all. The Colts going into this season, we all kind of thought that, hey, that they have a good chance to actually win the AFC South. And looking at this now, it's like, okay, the Jaguars and Titans are probably better than you, and the Texans would probably beat you right now if you were playing. So obviously some changes need to be made. And what did they do? They call up old all-pro center, Mr. Jeff Saturday, Peyton Manning's longtime center, his whole career basically.
Yep.
Was Jeff Saturday there in Indianapolis. And he was awesome. Jeff Saturday was one of the best setters in football for a long time. Went to many Pro Bowls. Great pass blocking guy. But he has no head coaching experience at all when it comes to the NFL, when it comes to football in general.
Had at high school. He head coached in high school there.
He
for
did do that
a little while.
but he's been a TV analyst now for a couple of years, right?
2 years here.
So, but just to be called up like that out of the blue, he's going to be their interim head coach now for the time being. And if things go well, if somehow he turns the team around, I mean, they actually could be a team that would be interested in keeping him around. Maybe this is a breath of fresh air type of an approach for the Colts.
So I got a question for you guys here. We was talking about GM. With Irsay stepping in, essentially, it seems like he's stepped in this organization big time the last couple months or this month here.
Maybe he's getting sober too.
Maybe. Chris Ballard, what does this mean for him? Obviously, he's not making the moves. We don't see him in the press. We don't see him anywhere.
Sure.
This might be a indication of, Frank was the first to go, but now this could be Chris's last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. Chris Ballard, bringing him up, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs, part of the front office there for a while. And yeah, that's a good point, because at this point, if you have ownership starting to make moves on their own, aside from what the GM would like, then that's kind of a telltale of that your time is running out at this point, unless things just happen to fall right.
Unless there's something else that we're not seeing in this organization. That's something I was thinking of on Monday on Buffoon and Botkins, was like this whole Jeff Saturday thing, and then Irsay being in the picture. Like, I haven't seen one thing from Chris Ballard about Jeff Saturday. I haven't seen one thing about Chris Ballard talking about Frank.
It probably wasn't Ballard's choice.
It wasn't. I guarantee you it wasn't.
Irsay goes, "Hey, I really like Jeff Saturday, and he was awesome while he was here. Let's bring him back to coach the team." Okay. And Jeff Saturday talked about in his press conference just how surprising it was to get that phone call offer to be the head coach. And if the Chiefs called you guys up right now, Andy Reid, had to be done with football. You guys going to take that offer? You guys
I'll take that offer. Smoking Jeremy B here commenting. Thanks for tuning in, Jeremy, of course. He goes, "Wow, I just covered the subject on my show." You can catch a show after our show on Kneecap Bite with Smoking Jeremy B.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
I don't have a problem with the move, because what's the worst that can happen? He sucks. Well, he was only an interim coach anyway.
Correct. Right.
So if they tank and he really sucks bad, you just get a higher draft pick. So, but if he's good, then, if he gets lucky is what I really mean. If he's good, then you can, keep him around for another year.
At the same time, I will say that there is something to, he's been in the league before. He's been a player. He understands how it works. He's been in the inner workings of how coaching staff works. And we have a lot of players or a lot of coaches in this league right now that were former players. And most of them did have to have that kind of a stepping stone of, defensive backs coach to the defensive coordinator. And then from there, you make the next step up and so on. And that's normally the progression of hiring, right? And we don't normally see a guy just get jumped right in there, but it doesn't mean he can't do it. I think we have to keep in mind there's also a chance that this could actually be a great choice, and Jeff Saturday just naturally is great at football and has a great mind of football and knows how to be a leader of men, and can make it work. And so I want to put that out there and make sure that we all understand that it's a possibility this thing can work out pretty well.
So one of the first moves he did was offensive coordinator, Frazier Parks, 30-year-old, kind of had no experience with calling plays or anything. That's now the offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts with Jeff Saturday.
And that's a little scary. I mean, if you don't have experience calling plays at all, I mean, that's where it could get a little sketchy, I would say, because, I mean, we're not drawing up plays in the sand or playing Madden. I mean, that's where things can get interesting. This actually might be a really fun game to watch for the Colts this weekend. Who knows?
So we got a new, I guess, unproven head coach, unproven offensive coordinator. They're keeping Sam Ehlinger in there for the quarterback situation.
Yeah. And Jonathan Taylor still has a lingering injury, but he might play this weekend. I mean,
that's what running backs are running backs, I think, in my mind. Like, Jonathan Taylor's great, but in this kind of situation, it doesn't matter who you put back there, because that's just a horrible offense. What I was going to say, you just kind of ruined my thought there. Train of thought's gone. I had something coming up for that.
Well, here's the thing. If nobody has experience calling plays, then you're essentially like Joe Judge competing with Matt Patricia, right? Is that like, if you don't have any experience calling plays, I mean, that could be a disaster.
This could be what I was thinking of here was a energy move kind of thing, like a Dan Campbell, MCDC in Detroit, Dabble up in Giants, an energy move, like get players that want to play for head coaches. Well, maybe Jeff Saturday is one of those guys that's been in the locker room that players respect. I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's here for W's, right? I don't think we're here for W's. This is what Jeff Saturday is here for. Jeff Saturday is here to maybe fix an O-line that is supposed to be fantabulous this year and is not. Maybe it was here to fix an energy issue going into play.
I'd love to know, like, wish we could have like Hard Knocks right now with the Colts and just watch his first order of business. Like, what's the first thing he sets down to start working on as far as the structure of his staff and the structure of practice and structure of everything that revolves around it. That'll be interesting to see how this thing unfolds. But
and Jeremy here, 366 first like. Hey, I appreciate you liking. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you guys like, subscribe, because we have We do this every week. All right. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and put the notifications on.
That's right. And some weeks are better than others. This one is going to be great too, right, guys? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course it is.
Make the show
Anyways,
great. Make the show great.
Make the
again.
show great again. All right. Well, my question for you guys anyway, regarding around the situation here with the Colts and Jeff Saturday and all that, is that if you were running, your favorite team and you're the owner of your favorite team,
Correct.
who would you hire that has zero head coaching experience or coaching experience in general to then be the leader of your team? It could be anybody. It could be any sport even. Just who would you hire that has no coaching experience you think could step in right away and make an impact?
So we kind of touched on, there was actually a Twitter post today I commented on my Whiskey Sports Podcast Twitter account. But this part, the first name I threw out there and the first name I could think of off the top of my head is DJ for the Chiefs. I would take Derek Johnson.
I'm still surprised he hasn't been a part of the staff yet at this point.
I don't think he wants to.
Which is weird to me. It seems like he would have fit well with that.
Wants to get into that yet. Maybe he's not there yet, kind of after retirement. So
I think that Andy Reid made a statement one time after Derek retired that the door would be open for Derek Johnson to be part of the staff. So I think the opportunity is out there if he wants to take it. I think you're right. He doesn't want to take it, which is surprising. Like his mom was a teacher, and so the Derek Johnson thing was like, okay, your mom was a teacher, so obviously there's teaching there in your background of your family. How come you don't want to go, teach football?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a thing probably for him. But the first thing that came to my mind was DJ.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, what do you got, JG?
It's all about the Lakers and the Nets on this show. So how do we fix those two teams? Well, I'm going to put Lil Wayne as the coach of the Lakers since he's also a fan of the Lakers. And I'm going to put Jay-Z, who I don't know. He used to be a part owner of the Nets. I don't know if he still is.
I think he was the owner of the Dolphins there for a while.
Like a minority owner of the Nets. I'm going to put Jay-Z as the coach of the Nets because I think, being two of the greatest rappers of all time, I think they would at least have some respect. Maybe not in terms of the game of basketball, but they would have respect over there on the sidelines. But I would put those two guys in there. By the way, huge mistake as far as the Nets hiring Jacques Vaughn.
I love that hire.
That should have been Ime Udoka all the way. I mean, just a much better coach.
I'm not going to get into it yet. I know we can get into it a little later here, but I got reasons why that didn't happen. But we'll get into it.
Yeah, Tanner got excited whenever that was made. I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, who is this person?
He doesn't
play football. I know, but I was like, he doesn't play football. Who is this imbecile? So that was my first thought. I guess I would I'm going to stick with the Chiefs because it just Chiefs players, former Chiefs players. I think that Tim Grunhard would make a lot of sense. Another center, of course. He's actually coached football as well in high school, I believe. I think he would fit in well as a head coach. Still just such a football guy too, and really, really just loves the sport. Otherwise, I'd probably go with Trent Green. I think he's extremely intelligent, and I think that just the way he handles himself is really what leaders are all about. And I think that would probably be my guy as a head coach.
He should still be playing. Isn't he the same age as Tom Brady? He should probably still be on the field.
I think he's pretty close to the same age. Actually, he is a little older than Tom. Trent was playing in the 1997 or whatever.
Trent Green is 52 years old.
Yeah.
He's just come back like Vinny Testaverde.
Trent was drafted in like the 13th round or something ridiculous. It was back when the NFL draft had more rounds. I think it was actually round 8 or 9, actually.
So I do got a couple more here because I have multiple favorite teams, of course. So the Jayhawks football, Aqib Talib coming into play.
To be the head coach? To
be the head coach if Lance Lee pulls.
Okay, you're going to trust Aqib Talib. Is he going to stay out of trouble as a head coach?
Look, I think you would, but
is he going to clubs after the game?
You just said if I'm picking a former player, I'd pick Aqib Talib.
That's a terrible one, Tanner. I'd rather go with Todd Reesing or something.
Some excitement there, some energy.
So they can party after the game.
Deion Sanders style excitement coming into play. That's a guy that could come in and make a program effective.
Well, how about Johnny Manziel coming back to be a college coach? That'd be pretty interesting.
Well, it'd be interesting.
You'd have a lot of party. You'd have a lot of party animals on that team.
That would, they would match what their team is now. So trash.
Yeah.
So that would make sense in that part. And then my KU basketball one would be Kirk Heinrich coming back and coach that team if Bill Self left.
See, at least the Jaguars made a right move with getting Doug Peterson brought in. They went from a guy who had no business being a coach to then bringing in a great coach of Doug Peterson. So at least they made up for their mistake along the way there.
If they were going to go that route, let's say Jaguars went the Indianapolis Colts route, who would you choose on that one?
If Jaguars went the Colts route, you mean
like hire a player that's not a coaching currently?
I mean, if they didn't have Doug Peterson, you're asking?
Correct.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe they could call up
Byron Leftwich.
Yeah, which he is coaching. Maybe they could call up Fred Taylor or
that's what I'm saying.
Mark Brunell.
Fred Taylor's the first on my list. Just
one of those kind of guys. Maybe
you watch him in the podcast, he looks so calm and stuff, but he's also, you could tell he's so knowledgeable about the game and he has passion for it. And I think he would be one of those great fits coming into play, at least for a year or so, to see what happens.
Yeah,
some energy behind it too.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea. I don't know. I don't know who the next coach is going to be after Andy Reid's gone here in Kansas City. Nor do I want to think about that for the next 5 years. I'd rather just keep our big boy around and keep rolling the way we are. So, anyways, you guys, do we have Smoking Jeremy B with a response?
We got some responses here.
Okay.
So he says Trent Green is my age, born in 1970. And he goes, say what you want. Akeem Talib is perfect as a commentator for Football 101 needy fans. That's true, too, coming into play. So, he said, Eric Bieniemy would be one, but he's currently coaching. So he'd be a great coach somewhere.
I mean, we might find out one day or not.
No, we probably
won't. We'll see if that ever comes to happen or not, but I'm not that worried. I mean, I guess he can stick around here if he'd like to. I've kind of been expecting him to go like the last 3 years, and it just hasn't happened.
Okay, so Irsay, Jeff Saturday fails, right? The experiment with Jeff Saturday fails. Does he go after a Peyton Manning?
No, you got to go get Andrew Luck. Bring him back.
Nobody wants to. No.
Oh yeah.
Luck don't want to come back.
Go get Andrew Luck to be your head coach.
PTSD sitting on the sideline for he's going to get hit.
Well, or you could just call up Peyton, I guess, and see if he wants to do that.
That's what I'm saying, Peyton Manning.
But I think he's having it too easy right now, working at ESPN and doing the Monday Night Football things and the Manning deal.
He'll go after Eric Bieniemy. That's who it'll be.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard. What about Pat McAfee?
Nah, First of all, Pat McAfee's making more money now than he would as a head coach. He's not going to waste.
You don't want that stress.
He's not going to waste time.
He's out there cursing on ESPN on College Game Day. He loves it.
Yeah, he's not going to waste time trying to be a head coach for the Colts and fixing their mess right now. So, well, anyways, guys. So we are at the midway point of the season. So literally as of halftime of all your favorite teams' games, that will be the exact middle point of the season, considering we have 17 games instead of 16. So at halftime, that'll be the actual midpoint. But with that said, so we finally have a game at noon again, which is going to be great. Chiefs, Jaguars. And I'm getting sick of these primetime games all the damn time. We got another one flexed over the week after this to the Chargers game. Sunday Night Football got flexed over. And so I'm looking forward to just the fact we get to have an early game and get it out of the way and not stay up so late, just selfishly. But at the same time, I'm looking at this game, and I don't think we should think the Jaguars are some kind of a pushover by any means.
I don't think they are.
They got some talent. Of course, Travis Etienne's having some success right now with the trade away of Mr. Robinson. So Trevor Lawrence as well, I think that's a guy that still has a lot of upside. He's made a big jump from year 1 to year 2. His interceptions are down, touchdowns are up a little bit. So we're seeing a nice progression for Trevor Lawrence, showing me that he does have what it takes to play in the NFL.
Correct.
We're not even close to what his ceiling is going to be yet, so that remains to be seen. But you got guys like Christian Kirk over there, and I look at this team though this week, and the Chiefs are favored by 9.5 points on this game, and I still think the Chiefs are going to be a buzzsaw against them this week, and I could see the Chiefs going out and putting up another 40-point game.
9.5 now. 9.5.
And I don't know.
Opened up at 10.
Opened up at 10, and yeah, I guess some people, because double-digit money lines are just scary in the NFL. And I think Jason and I we had a topic about this earlier off the air about I wonder what the record is this year on any game that is a +10 situation. I wonder what the underdogs record is this year in those situations, because I really think that it's difficult to do that in the NFL, and it's difficult to look at a game like I think the Eagles game is a Eagles is a -11, Jason. Is that what we looked at?
Yeah, I think it was right around or maybe it was 10.5.
Maybe 10 and a
I
half.
don't remember.
And
if you're talking about against the spread for this year, they have it kind of broken down here, but away teams are 50. Well, I guess that's just against the spread, not double digits.
right, I'm just looking at double digits as far as if
Yeah.
they can, how often that's been covered this year. But I would assume that's probably a high success rate.
I bet it's over 50% just because there's so much parity in the NFL, and it's like the any given Sunday rule. It's like, yeah, this team, like, you know, like the Eagles or the Bills, yeah, they are really that much better than a lot of the other teams. But when you take into account any given Sunday, like, it means nothing because a lot of teams are going to have trap games. A lot of teams are going to be playing out of their minds, and then they're going to come back to reality and play like crap for a couple of games. So,
And the Chiefs just had this situation last week. They were favored by 12 against the Titans, and the Titans got up real big right away, and then the Chiefs did their thing, of course. But it's just those kind of things happen all the time. But anyways, I do think that this week, going against everything I just said, I really feel pretty good about the Chiefs this week, just because they had kind of a down week offensively against the Titans, and they had a little bit of frustration. Defense are the ones that had to carry them, and we had to see plays being made, and Malik Willis only completed 5 passes, and then they finally got to a point where they could corral Derrick Henry enough, make big stops on 3rd down, and then from there on, the offense finally got it clicking there in the 4th quarter to have the comeback.
Yep.
And last time that happened, the Chiefs ended up playing the 49ers the week after that and put up like 44 points.
Correct.
So I'm seeing a similar pattern here where when the Chiefs have a down week on paper, which to me a down week is, anything in the low 20s for them or lower, then the week after that they bounce up. So just out of curiosity, we're at the midway point, guys. Kind of a thought process going through your mind about the state of the Chiefs and this game this weekend.
I'll let you go, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of this weekend, I mean, first of all, mid-season report here. I mean, we were all concerned about the receiver production at the beginning of the year. A lot of question marks. And so I think so far I'm happy with it. I mean, I think Hardman has stepped up. MBS has been okay, but now we've got Kadarius Toney. And so I'm not worried about the receiver core, as I think a lot of people were worried about it to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing a lot of good things there, obviously with Juju. But as far as Jacksonville is concerned, I mean, Jacksonville comes from a pretty bad division. So although defensively they're ranked like 11th in points per game and 16th in yards per game, I mean, that's in a kind of a weak division. And the Chiefs, quite frankly, they've already had their trap game. Their trap game was last week. Their trap game was Indianapolis. So I think that this is not like a trap game scenario. They're at home. They got to put these guys away. But while I think Jacksonville on paper should be very competitive, I would make my bet on the Chiefs to go ahead and cover that 9.5 this week.
So we got both of us now saying cover the 9.5. Not that these are our easy money bets. We're just speaking out loud here.
They're not. You can get a good value in 9.5, guys, on PointsBet at -107. So
107.
Best deal out there. Anything less than 30 points in a huge blowout is disappointment, is almost say. I believe this Jacksonville team, even though they came back and beat the Raiders aren't good. The Chargers aren't good. The Indianapolis Colts aren't good. This team, Kansas City Chiefs, come out here and they should blow this out completely. They should blow Jacksonville out of the water. And if you're putting a beer per point, you should have a 30-pack done by the end of the game, if not more.
So, okay, looking at the situation the Chiefs are in, looking at even the Bills right now where Josh Allen might have to miss a week, and they just took a loss to the Jets. I mean, this is a chance right now for the Chiefs to really jump up, get ahead of everything, 7-2, and
take advantage
of what's going on right now. This is not a. I don't think you're allowed to have a game like you were just talking about, Jason, where you lose to the Colts or you just about lose to the Titans or whatever. This is not going to be a surprise game where it's like, oh wow, we didn't realize the Jaguars were a decent team. Like the Chiefs are looking at this going, okay, we got to buckle in. We can't be making mistakes, and we
time to clean it up.
We potentially have first
Time to
place
clean
in
it
our
up.
hands. If the Chiefs got to win this week with the Bills' loss, which is very possible, if Josh Allen doesn't play, then I mean it's looking solid for that number 1 seed. So just about getting back ahead of them since they do own the tiebreaker, I would say. My biggest concern right now with the Chiefs at this point of the season, and as crazy as it may sound, because I thought the opposite going into this, is that run game and how inconsistent they are.
Oh, it's so bad.
And how it's like one week you'll go play the Buccaneers, who had the number 1 rush defense for 3 years in a row, and we've quickly found out afterwards this year is not the year for that with them. But you go out there against them, and you have Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire both average about 6 yards a carry, and just running all over. And now we have other weeks where it's like Clyde will have 6 attempts for 5 yards. Pacheco has 5 for 5. McKinnon's the one guy that maybe has a breakaway run for 20 yards here or there. But you can't get any kind of momentum going with the ground game. You can't get any chunks at all. It's literally, here's 2 yards. Here's 2 yards. And then let's start throwing the ball. Let's throw the ball 68 goddamn times. And that's what it turns into.
68 times, almost 500 yards,
Mhm.
and 65 yards rushing.
Well, for Mahomes.
That's what I'm saying. And he led the team.
And-
Nobody was remotely close. Everybody was 5 and under.
Right. And that's the problem I'm seeing, is that there's not enough balance to the offense right now. And I think that there's going to be a time at some point later in the season where you're just going to want to have to rely on running backs to chew up some clock and not have to have Mahomes throw the ball 50 times a game. Not that that's a bad thing all the time, but you need some refreshing running backs.
We got 4 games coming up here against that. We can get the run game going. The Jaguars, the Chargers, the Rams, and the Bengals all give up huge amounts of runs to other teams. If we can't get the run game going in any of those 4 games, that Broncos game on December 11th looks a little scarier.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, quite frankly, of the Bills running game in that nobody is really afraid of the Bills running game, except for Josh Allen. And so there are days when Mahomes is a much bigger threat than any of our running backs. So like nobody's really afraid of the Chiefs running game. So I think that's my comparison there. But I mean, the Chiefs, they want to throw the ball, and that's what we do. But yeah, you have to have, especially as we look forward to the playoffs, you have to not necessarily be a threat, but teams have to respect your running game. And I don't think we have that respect right now.
Yeah, that's my number 1 issue right now with the team anyway. Defensively, I feel pretty good right now at this point.
So do you throw Rojo in?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the other option is I've been wanting that all year long. I've been personally, even though McKinnon's made some good plays or whatever, I would like to at least have a couple games here or there where Rojo is active. I don't care who else you have to deactivate, for a game or two. In certain situations, it just makes sense to like, hey, why not have a 4-man rotation in there? Because Clyde isn't playing great all the time. He's got games where he doesn't show up at all. And
Pacheco's not what we were hoping.
There's some games Pacheco doesn't get the ball at all unless it's a kickoff.
Yep.
Which also doesn't make any sense to me. There's no rhythm here or rhyme or reason to why these things are happening. Just like Andy Reid said 2 weeks ago, Pacheco's going to start against the Raiders. He plays one drive and then he's pulled. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
There's nothing.
How if you're a running back, you're supposed to ever get in a comfortable zone of just following your blocks correctly. Just getting in the rhythm as a running back is actually important in a lot of ways. And no one can do it. But yeah, of course, I would throw in Ronald Jones. Why not? I mean, he's more of a bruising back. I mean, he can definitely lower the pads, and he's a physical runner at times for sure. So, and he's frustrated, of course, which I don't blame him for that. So,
yeah, there goes that in the plays too. Jeremy says Chiefs will be in my 4-game parlay as a win. He places 10 bets for a minimum 41 odds. He says McKinnon's the most consistent overall, which must be confounding for Chiefs fans. I like McKinnon. I really think he ends up being what he did last year at the end of the season. He becomes the guy for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and that's kind of frustrating. That's probably true because Clyde was pick 32 overall in the draft, and Isaiah Pacheco, even though he was a 7th-round pick, but he's a big, fast running back that should be playing a little better than he is. His problem, I think, at the most is vision. And we knew that coming into this. We knew he was going to be similar to maybe what Niall Davis was with the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And I think that can be worked and coached on. I mean, I would hope the vision's one thing that can be taught. You can't teach being 5'10", 220 pounds and run a 4.3, but
Right.
you can teach vision. In Ronald, or not Ronald Jones, but Jerick McKinnon just kind of has a natural instinct and vision that a running back needs that the other two guys just for some reason haven't figured out yet. So, yeah, that's just how that's going.
Yeah, McKinnon is great, but like that's not who he is. We shouldn't expect him to be our number one. McKinnon would be much more effective just on third downs if we actually had a number one. I think that would even make McKinnon even better.
Yeah, well, I think if this continues this place, we will see a surprise deactivation of someone maybe like a Clyde or even a Pacheco for a game to get Ronald Jones into the mix a little bit, just to see if we can find a spark somewhere with a more of a bruising back, just pick up chunks and seem like you can carry an offense a little bit. So,
or you could try to go pick up Cam Akers.
Oh yeah, Cam Akers. Oh yeah, we all love Cam. Tanner loves Cam Akers. He drafted him in our fantasy league, the one he didn't tell us was going to be real.
I didn't draft him.
Oh yeah, one of you guys.
Jason drafted
One
him.
of you guys.
I drafted James Robinson, who ended up working out.
Yeah, I drafted him, but it was your fault because you told us it was a fake league.
Right,
and then all of a sudden it's real. Yeah, I didn't care. I was throwing bonehead picks out there.
Yeah, it's your fault.
He said it was a mock draft.
It didn't say it was a mock draft.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm just saying it's your fault that I drafted Cam Akers in a fake draft. That's all.
It's all on you guys.
All right. Well, I said my piece about the Chiefs at the moment. I'll probably have more to say in the coming weeks, of course. But right now, I'm feeling comfortable, feeling good.
We better blow them out. That's all
I'm looking forward to going to the game. So that'll be fun.
Just win by 10, dude. Just cover the spread. That's all I ask. You don't have to blow them out.
Right. How about a good old, like, I don't know, 35-21 type of game, Yeah, I'll give up 21 points. That's fine. Trevor Lawrence is my starting quarterback this week in fantasy.
Yes.
Because Joe Burrow is out for the week. So, all right, guys. Well, got to get all that off your chest.
I'll go 24-13.
24-13
Yeah.
on that one. 20. See, if it's 24, I feel like that's a letdown.
24-13. I'm going 44-10.
All right, Tanner. 44.
I expect a blowout this game.
He wants that money line to be like -30.
I want that money line to be -450 by the time the game starts.
All right. So, guys, obviously, the NBA is underway. Jason, you're following it much more closely than anybody else is, I would say, at this table. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Tanner's following just as closely. I don't know. But you seem to be
do you not
kind of our I don't know, Lakers and Nets kind of connoisseur, the one that just is all things Lakers and Nets, which you love teams under 500. I understand.
Yeah.
Like there's an appeal to
No
that
doubt.
Sometimes because you feel like you can fix them.
You can always fix them.
Especially when they have the names such as LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. He loves those.
He's like one of those people that like would be attracted to like broken women. Like I can fix them. Like, oh, I'll be your Captain Save-A-Ho. Come here, honey. And it turns out, well, there's still just trash. So at the end of the day, that's the way it goes.
I think I could make that scenario work. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I could fix a few of them out there.
All right. Well, tell me what's going on with tell me what's going on with the Lakers.
Anyway, the sad thing about the NBA is like so many people out there don't even pay attention to the regular season. And that's the reason why we sit here and talk about the Nets and the Lakers, because nobody really cares about the good teams until the playoffs start. But I did want to touch on the Lakers a little bit just because I personally have been calling for this since last year. I think they need to blow it up. They sat there and wasted so much time trying to trade Westbrook when, in fact, Westbrook is now, I don't know if you guys noticed this, if you take away Matt Ryan and Austin Reeves, Westbrook is the best three-point shooter on the team. AD is not good at threes. LeBron James is shooting 21% from threes. So they don't have any shooters on this team. We've known that they weren't going to have any shooters on this team before the year started, and even when you look on last year's roster. And so it's time to blow it up. And I've been calling for this for months. And for whatever reason, they just keep thinking, oh, well, maybe we can trade Westbrook. No, you have to trade whoever you can trade. So LeBron needs to go, Anthony Davis needs to go if he even has any trade value right now. I'm sure they could probably get something for him, but they need to do what I'm doing in my fantasy league currently, which is loading up on picks because they suck ass. What do you think about that, Tanner?
First off, I want to know what Jeremy's talking about. What's FTP? I'm lost on that. Second off, Lakers, I agree with you on blowing it up. They need to. It's bad. It's bad basketball, and it's bad for Los Angeles. Here's the thing, though. Nobody wants AD. They'll take LeBron, but they're going to need to work something else out with the Lakers to have Lakers pay for LeBron. Russell Westbrook, nobody wants, obviously. I think he's stuck there.
That's not true, though. I think he's going to increase his trade value because since he's started to come off the bench,
I still don't think
he's playing better. Like I said, he's the third best 3-point shooter on the team, and he's like the best of like the big three at shooting threes right now. So I think the fact that he's actually improved his game now that he's coming off the bench, he's actually improving his trade value. I can make a case that he's got more trade value than Anthony Davis is at this point because
that might be true.
The guarantee,
that might be true.
You have one guarantee with Westbrook. He will be on the floor. He's not going to get injured. Anthony Davis is the opposite of that. We promise you he will get injured. So Westbrook does have, in my opinion, more trade value.
Yeah, and nobody wants Anthony Davis, though. I don't think Russell Westbrook's the one to trade. I think AD is the one to trade, but nobody wants him. Nobody wants to deal with
it. Is it a contract issue, Tanner?
It's not necessarily
what's
a contract
the holdup
issue.
on the trades?
It's the holdup is, he's got that back issue, hanging on the rim. He's got that leg issue from running up and down the court. Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody wants to pay him the money he's on right now to deal with that.
Yeah, especially if you're a young, thriving team. You don't want it to be slowed down by some old bum that's going to just
as
cause
much
issues.
As I fully agree with Jason that these guys need to try to do something. The thing is, I don't think they get a lot of buyers. And if they get buyers, it's not going to be Laker-friendly deals coming into play.
Well, you got to get some picks.
I mean, it's a restart, right? I mean, after this season, it's a full-on restart,
it has
right?
to be, yes.
So, I mean, after this season, LeBron will be gone, right? And then so will AD, and so will,
I think so, yeah.
All those main guys will be gone, I'm assuming. I mean, LeBron's not going to stick around if all the pieces are.
The problem is they all need to be gone now so that the Lakers can go ahead and start the rebuild now and start to get back some of those picks that they squandered they squandered it to get a championship in the bubble.
How's attendance, though? Because attendance is what they're going to look at right now. Why they want to hold on to him.
Here's your issue. 2023, you have Westbrook is the free agent after this year, okay? You have, looks like LeBron and AD both signed on for next year, and then a player option on 24-25 for, what are they making, 44 now, 46 next year, 50 for LeBron, 43 for Davis, again, 37 for this year. So they're all, and that's a player option. These guys don't get forced out. They can accept that player option, and they get paid in that play. Damian Jones has that player option for next year. Everybody else outside of Max Christie, Colin Swipe, and Scottie Pippen Jr., there is nothing on for them next year. This is a team based off of 1-year deals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds about right. So then the game plan is what? Let LeBron come back for another year because he's going to want $50 million.
You're going to keep LeBron because that's 46 next year, then $50 million after.
But then you got an AD problem you got to figure out.
Yeah, that's the thing. $37 million this year.
So how do you get younger? How do you take on those deals but get younger?
You don't.
You just suck again?
You just suck.
Wow.
I wish, for LeBron's sake, that they could somehow ship his ass back to the Cavs
somewhere
because that team is already good. That's an amazing team right now.
You see it on my board here on my Whiskey Sports here. Cavs money line. I put 2 units on that sucker today.
You put LeBron back on that team again for
round
round 3. I mean,
him and Donovan
that would be
Mitchell?
fun to watch.
Him and Donovan Mitchell together in a Cavs uniform.
I'd probably do because you got to make the trade
better than him and Kyrie.
If they're going to trade LeBron, like you got to make it somewhat equal to make the contracts match up.
Sure
I think
you can give up some.
I think Donovan Mitchell would be the guy that you would trade.
No,
Because that like the rest of that roster would be still really, really good with LeBron James on it.
see, they would give up. They could probably give up. They'd probably give up a Jared Allen. They'd probably give up a LeVert for him.
Yeah,
and
that's
some draft
true.
Picks. It'd probably be that round into play more than a Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your broken Lakers will be back to the streets then. They're not going to be savable.
Yeah,
will they?
they're basically right now. Right now, I think their ceiling is a 10 seed. Right now, which is basically like the very end of the play-in tournament.
That's the ceiling.
Yeah,
It ain't
that's
gonna happen.
the
That's the
best
ceiling.
that they can do is the 10 seed.
Jeremy says Russell Westbrook is a playoff killer wherever he goes. AD's trade value is a Happy Meal and a small ice cream cone.
Agree.
Okay. FTP stands for F the Packers.
Oh, okay, we could get a random F.
He's a Lions guy. You gotta get the F the Packers, right? Just for Nick. And then he says LeBron might decline his option to go to Cleveland when they draft his son. Well, yeah, but that's still a whole.
Oh, he'll
other
be
year
washed. He'll be washed by then. I
I'm
want to
sure.
get him on the Cavs right now
would-
while he's
would-
got some juice left.
I mean, the truth is, LeBron doesn't need the extra money. I'm sure he's doing just fine.
But he does
But-
need more rings. He needs them.
Sure, which he's not going to get at the Lakers.
Well, he's not going to get them anywhere. But
He's not going to get them
I'm saying,
anywhere.
Like, your
But maybe
best chance,
maybe he wants to play with the son. So maybe
That-
that's
that's
his
fine.
thing.
Play 22 years. Why not?
take your 4 rings and retire. I guess.
Yeah. Is he going to be the assist king? Is he just going to be just literally every play just throw to my son, just throw to my son?
It could be. I don't know.
So
He'd probably break the
LeBron
record.
and his son may play together. Do you think Tom Brady divorced Giselle because he was posting memes saying this could have been us looking at LeBron and his son, but you were playing?
Well, Tom, if he plays another, I don't know how many more, 5, 6
That's
years.
a lot of years.
He played to his 50. His son, I don't know
It
how old
wouldn't be
his oldest son is. I don't think he's quite that old.
I don't think he's
So-
anywhere near that. I think he's like 12.
But maybe he wants to play with Peyton Manning's son, or not Peyton Manning's son, excuse me.
Not-
The other Manning, Cooper's Manning, the Arch Manning. Maybe he wants to play with Arch Manning, and there's a possibility you could see Tom Brady and Arch Manning if he plays another 3-4 years.
Tom Brady's oldest son is 15.
Yeah, all right. Well, I guess 6 more years for Brady, and then maybe his son would be in the NFL at that point. So
That's
I would love to see Tom Brady like run around at age 50 like a Vinny Testaverde type. Just chuck the ball all over the field and see what happens.
it'd be kind of funny, honestly, just to see what happens.
Jeremy
Or
says the ceiling for the Lakers is watching the playoffs from home, which might be true. Playoffs? We're talking playoffs.
What do we used to call him Legium, then we call him during playoff time. He becomes Lagon.
All right. Well, Lagon.
Like gone.
Moving along, Mr. Lagon.
Wait,
What?
we got one more NBA topic
Oh,
because
all
I
right.
got to discuss this with Jason.
Ooh, it's a
here.
surprise.
You guys go
It's
for
a
it. I got
surprise.
something to
So
look
you
up.
talked about the Jacques Vaughn earlier, right, in the show, and how the Celtics guy should have been the coach, right?
Now, to be fair, I'm biased. Like I'm a KU guy, but I'm also a Spurs guy as well. So
Correct.
Ime Udoka
It's a Spurs guy.
comes from the Spurs Popovich
Correct.
coaching tree, but he also actually accomplished more as a head coach.
So what if I was to tell you that he is going to be the head coach come 2023, 2024 year, but they weren't putting him in charge now because that roster for one's going to be different. 2, they don't want to deal with the backlash. They already got Kyrie Irving in the backlash, so they're not going to deal with that again in their PR department. 3, they don't need him right now because that team's already trash and it's not going to help them. So
That's true.
He's
I
good.
can agree with that.
I think he becomes coach, right? I really do. I think Jacques Vaughn finishes out the year. They're like, hey, we're already calling this season a loss. Maybe we'll try to trade a pieces here and there, but we're going to call this season. We'll give it to Jacques. Whatever. He's been for an interim here. He's been around the organization for a while, and then come 2023-24, he goes Brown. What's his name?
Udoka.
Udoka. So I keep saying something else. Udoka becomes the coach for the Nets.
No, I'm fine with that. So
Okay.
you're saying they're just waiting for Kyrie to leave? Is that the whole point of
Basically, Kyrie and possibly even Durant.
it? Okay. Well, I'd be fine with that.
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, why waste him this year and pay him when we don't have to, we can wait until next year.
Well,
get him in full off season, development, learn his guys, and then you can go on to try to see what you can do with the season.
Well, that could be exactly what the Colts are doing with Jeff Saturday. They know like their team sucks, so let's just get through the year, then we'll go out and hire one of the big guns.
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I don't want to see Ime Udoka fail because he's got people with personal problems on the team.
Yeah, there's no reason for it. Why waste his talent now? Let him sit out for a whole year too.
There was never enough firepower on that team anyway. Even if Kyrie plays every game, there's not enough talent on that team.
Jeremy says it's too soon for the guy to be a coach again. Not really. I think you sit out the first quarter, you're fine. Like the first quarter of the season, it's worth it. And then he says that he wants to do a show with us again. We'll have to figure something out here. So, all right, Mike, I'm done with that part.
All right. Well, you know how we wrap it up now. Each and every week here, we've been wrapping it up with the easy money bet of the week.
You know the definition of a baller.
All right. So, Tanner, you got to do us the honors of how we did last week because we've been keeping track of this throughout the year. I did take my second L of the season. I'm now 7-2 on my easy money bets of the week. And last week, so what was it I had it on again, Tanner?
All right.
What did I have?
So recapping last week here.
I was 2-0 last week.
Mike had the Dolphins at -5, and then he told all of his friends and family and anybody that he would talk to bet the -4 for the Dolphins. And it is a locked in, throw your bank account on it, and you're going to win this one. And
well, it turns out their defense sucks ass.
It's really bad.
They allowed the most rushing yards ever by a quarterback. So
it's really bad.
That was not to be expected as far as that to be that bad. I would put it that way.
So Mike lost his. He's now 7-2. JG out here with the Texans plus 13.5 ended up pulling that one out.
Barely.
And then the Jets beating the Buffalo Bills got that one in as well. So he is now 5-7. Myself also went 2-0. The Seahawks money line hit, and TCU covered that 9.5 spread.
Very nice. What a week. Mike takes an L, and you guys go 4-0 combined.
That's right.
That's the comeback you guys needed for these picks.
Well, I think the worst part of it is like on that Dolphins-Bears game, like somebody sitting at this table lost a significant part of their savings account.
A lot.
Oh, God.
That was I was
fine.
I'm not going to say who it was, but yeah, I'm sad.
Well,
I'm actually really sad about that.
I thought it was a close nail biter of a finish in that game. So I feel like it was a smart bet, but at the same time I was a little surprised by the outcome there at the end and then the failure and ineptitude a few certain defenders had on the field. So that's what happened on that one.
Oh man, that's okay. Yep.
So good news is, guys, everyone takes losses sometimes.
That's
I'm still in the positive,
You
right?
lose.
So that's
This
what matters the
is
most.
what we call a get right game, a get right pick, if you will.
Yeah, it's got to be a get right and then not fall into a trap of just a streak of bad ones.
So let me pull up my betting pros here so I can get all the updated lines.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
What do we got? JG, you're on top of my list, so we'll start with you.
All right. Well, of course, as you know, I always have to start out with kind of my favorite team for this segment of the show. Houston is at the Giants. And I'm going to go with Houston. Like I always tell you guys, bet on Houston to cover every single week. So I'm going to go Houston +5. The Giants, I mean, I don't really think they're as good as their record says they are right now. So that's why I'm going with Houston. Other game I'm looking at, Arizona at the Rams. Now, Matthew Stafford just went into the concussion protocol today. They did not know that anything was wrong with him. He just now started showing symptoms. So right now, last I checked, the Rams are -1.5. But if you want to go ahead and place that bet right now, like I'd be really surprised if Stafford plays in that game. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kyler Murray allegedly has a hamstring issue, but they're saying that he's fine. So I'm kind of making a few assumptions here. I think Kyler's going to play. Stafford will probably not play. So then you're looking at the backup quarterback, whoever the hell that is. I can't remember his name on the Rams. I'm placing that bet.
Mr. Wolford, John Wolford.
I'm placing that bet right now for Arizona to cover because the Rams, like I said,
what was the amount you're doing? 1.5.
You got 1.5, right?
I had 1.5. Has
So
it moved already?
Well, no, there's still 1.5 there for DraftKings and FanDuel. Caesars has it for +3. Do you want to go to +3?
Yeah, I'll take whatever the easiest bet is.
That's the best odds right now at -110 for +3 on a line that opened at 6.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I would do the plus.
How is +3 better than +1.5?
It's all -110.
But you need the never
so
mind.
He gets
never
3
mind.
points
So
to
he gets
work
the 3 to work. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, I was like,
Right.
I'm confused. I was
Okay.
like, am I
My
screwing
bad.
this up?
No, I was screwing it
Yeah,
up.
I mean,
in my head.
I'll take the better odds. I think Arizona's going to win the game. You know,
Okay.
again,
Right,
it's kind of risky, but I mean, if your quarterback goes in the concussion protocol on a Wednesday, they're going to hold the fucker out of the game.
So if you can find +3, get that.
I would do the +3 on Caesars, guys. Go after that. Also, I was going to say your Houston one. You did 5. You can get 5.5 for -115 on FanDuel. You can get +5 for -107 on PointsBet, and a 4.5 if you even really want to for -110 on DraftKings.
Sure, I'll take the 5.5 then.
5.5. All right, cool. I got you down, Mike.
All right. Well, there is one team this season who has scored 20 points or more in every single game, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. And so with that said, I expect that to continue as they have been consistently good all year long offensively. And they're going against the Washington, Washington Football Commanders. So that's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, I feel good about the Eagles winning that game, but the over-under on this is 44 points. And I like the Eagles and Commodes to get the 44 on this one. I really feel like Eagles are rolling. I think Taylor Heineke, as long as he's
under or over?
Over. As long as he's still there, I think he's got a little more firepower to work with than some of the other guys they've had back there. So I mean, obviously, in some ways, like some quarterbacks have just kind of a pizzazz about themselves, and I think sometimes Heineke can come out and make some plays, and I feel good about the situation there at Philadelphia. I'm feeling like a 30-14 type of a game, which puts you right at 44. But I'll definitely take the over on this. I like them to take care of business. Now, it is Monday night, so we got to wait an extra day to see if I'm right on my pick. But That's my big one for this week because this week's games are tight.
They are very tight.
If you're looking down the list on all these picks, like I've had a hard time going, okay, well, Falcons -2.5 over the Panthers. I mean, maybe, but just stuff like that. These are all really
Los Angeles,
close.
San Francisco, the Chargers, San Francisco game, the Dallas, Green Bay,
and Titans, Broncos. You get Titans
Colts,
-2.5.
Vegas.
Yeah, most of these games I don't want to touch.
No.
So I'll go with the consistent team I can rely on to put up points, matching with the over/under on that game.
Now looking at here, best odds is over 43.5 at -110, and that's on PointsBet at -110.
Yeah, if you can get 43.5, then that'd be great.
So you want me to write that down, or you want to stick with 40?
Let's do 43.5.
Okay.
I'll take the extra half a point.
All right. Because I need to surpass Mike here and Jason. I got me a little bit. I'm going to pick 3 of these ones I wrote down here. So I'm going to pull up. We'll do the NFL ones first. And I think I still like it. Let me make sure the odds are still right. Oh, I don't want over and under. Nope, I don't want that. We're doing money lines, guys. So for the money line here, give me Seattle money line. You can get that at +140 on DraftKings, +130 FanDuel and PointsBet, and +125 on BetMGM. Seattle's money line.
Yeah, I like that's an interesting one too, Tanner, because I mean, obviously we feel good about the way Geno Smith's played. Seattle's played pretty well in general. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers and Tom Brady have been abysmal offensively. And so, I mean, we're looking at a situation where do you trust Tom Brady and the history of what he can do in certain games? Or do you trust what you see currently, which is Geno Smith's playing great, Seattle's playing better than Tampa Bay? Go with them.
I trust a running game that's stable, and I trust a passing game that can get down the field.
Kenneth Walker doing the job for sure. He had a great
that.
game last week, so He was big time, and Leonard Fournette is looking like Fat Leonard to be heard about in preseason. So
so Tampa Bay, they are struggling to move the ball. Period. Like they got lucky to get a chance to go at it again at the end of the game last week against Rams, but that team just can't. They just struggle. I don't like what I'm seeing here, and I don't know how they're not how they're favored. So that's why I'm going Seattle. And this game is in Germany, everybody. It is in Germany, so it is an early start game on Sunday.
So right quick on that, Tanner. Do you still have Geno in your top 5 in the MVP race?
Yeah, why not?
Top 5?
No, top 7.
Top 7.
Yeah, top 7. The next one, I'm not gonna put a bet on it. I agree with Jason on the Arizona Cardinals. I would actually take the money line for value on that one. That's a plus 143 for best odds going into play, and that's on Caesars. Everybody else is at 105 or even. So I would do that 145.3 on Caesars here before it's too late. I got a couple college picks, of course, because why not? Unfortunately, no college basketball because they don't come out with the lines like that. So on the tab of the show. Otherwise, I would do that. So I got Iowa's money line. That's at minus 105. They should win this week here. I can't remember who the hell they play. I didn't write that down. Some bum team.
You're giving betting advice and you don't even know who they play?
I looked it up earlier. It's the stuff I wrote down earlier. K-State money line.
Title of the show: Get Rich with Tanner. Wait, who's that team play?
He should run for office.
I didn't write this down.
That's a good idea.
K-State's money line. They play Baylor this week and on the road. I still like K-State bouncing back from that loss against Texas. Baylor's not that great. Jayhawks money line. I like that one. And TCU to cover the 7.5 against Texas, who's being completely disrespected right now for being first place in the Big 12. Like you're sure you're at Texas, but you've beat every other team in the freaking league. Why are they plus 7.5? Don't know. Go get that value. So those are my bets of the week.
Very good. All right, Will, any final thoughts before we get off of here?
Let me ran some comments here real quick. Dolphins rushing defense looked worse than Detroit's last week.
Yeah,
that's
bad.
true too.
It's horrible.
McVay way of hiding Stafford being benched poorly. No, they ain't benching Stafford because of poor play for Wolford. Jeremy, stop it. Arizona will win no matter the QB. Stafford just don't trust his weapons. Wentz still has PTSD. Wentz doesn't need to start.
No.
Eagles might put up 50.
I mean, they could.
Kenneth Walker, offensive rookie of the year. I believe that at this point.
Yeah. Who else?
Not taking Tanner's suggestions if he doesn't know the opponents. I appreciate you, Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy, for that.
Especially in college. I think that's one of those Tanner just needs to stay away from.
I didn't have my deal popped up here. I had on the top 25. We all know Iowa's not a top 25 team.
No.
I'm gonna tell you guys now. Now you just made me mad.
Well, we were listening. We were hoping you'd have some information for us, but because me and Jason are going to go up to the casino on Saturday, and we need to know who to bet on.
Wisconsin Badgers. The damn Wisconsin Badgers.
Wisconsin bastards. All right.
They're coming in. They're coming into Iowa. That's why I like Iowa winning this week. Granted, their offense is about as great as watching the Giants' offense.
Sounds like a boring game to me.
But Iowa win. Great value in that money line.
All right. Well, I'm glad we covered all that today, and we'll see how it turns out. Let's see if I can get back on the winning track as far as my easy money picks go.
I think
get it back up to 8-2.
I think you might be fine.
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty good about it. This week was kind of hard for me though in the NFL picks because most of these I don't want to touch.
Tough.
Most of these I don't want to deal with. But I still like Chiefs, even Chiefs minus 9.5. I still think there's a good shot of that. So I'm just throwing that out there. Not that that's my pick by any means. But all right, guys. Well, with all that said, I'll see you on the next one.
Jeremy, thanks for commenting, guys. Like, subscribe, follow. We'll be back next week.
Outro.
See you guys.